Hi everybody, my name is Waddles. How are you? I hope that answer is of course good or great or amazing or something like that. And today we're starting differently. I need to start with a shout out to Freaks TV. Now, why am I starting with a shout out? Well, that's actually really easy because Freaks gave me the exact idea for today's video. Today I will show you some uses for the brand new stripped log block. The stripped log basically is 6 more types of wood in the game, and I've got some ideas in my head for each and every one of these logs. So there's not an exact number, there's just some ideas. I'll use every log block at least once. I hope this video inspires you, and if it does, and if you have like more ideas to share or something, tweet me them. Tweet a screenshot to me at itiswaddles is my Twitter. It's linked down below. Leave a like on the video if you like it. It helps it out a lot. And then subscribe. That helps me out a lot. You don't want to miss more of my 1.13 related content. Trust me. So let's begin with the blocks. In case you haven't seen them yet, here they are. There's birch, oak, jungle, spruce, dark oak, and acacia, of course. Like I said, pretty much 6 new types of wood. Wood is really important because it's so accessible. I mean, look at this giant jungle over here that you could easily rip down and have 1.5 billion spruce logs, right? So that's kind of a big deal. Now, how do you get the stripped logs themselves? Well, that's also really easy, and that's why this block is so good. All you need to do is take a log block, place it down, take a specifically enchanted diamond axe. Nah, I'm completely kidding. You can use that trusty wooden axe that you carry around still, and your friend makes fun of you for carrying it around to make all your logs into stripped logs, of course. All you need to do is right-click or use the tool on the item. Now, this feature is coming in 1.13 or 1.3, or basically the update aquatic, so that's when you can look for it in case you didn't know. With that little intro bit out of the way, I'm going to hold on to my trusty wooden axe and get into some of the ideas. So, building is all about block choice, of course. So, this idea is using stripped dark oak logs, spruce slab, and of course a path block here. Now, I'm lining the path with cobblestone, and I have said this before, I really think these stripped oak I keep calling them oak logs. I really think the stripped logs make a great path choice here. So I have like a foresty path going on in here. This could work really well, say in the spruce forest, in a birch forest, really in anywhere, even across the plain. And then over here, I'm using birch logs here, stripped of course, for a beach path here. The colors all kind of match together. Like I was just saying, it's all about the block choices and the colors that you're using here. So I've lined all the blocks up I used on this part of the path, and as you can tell, these colors go very well together because they're almost the exact same thing. That's always the key for building in general. You're going to want to find blocks that work well together. Now, of course, they don't have to be the same colors here. These are, again, pretty much kind of the same color. You can, of course, do stuff that isn't the same color, like cobblestone is not the same color here, but you wouldn't want to usually pick every single color of stained clay or terracotta or whatever it's called, you know? You want to kind of pick colors that work well together. Now, of course, that's just more of a general building idea, but here, moving on, we have the acacia log in a wall. Now, these are all orange colors, of course, acacia planks, orange terracotta, and then stripped acacia, and it just works well. I'm using the dark oak as just like a simple border, you know, just to get the idea here, but this design would work really well too over here as a floor. Now, if you want, you could even turn these logs facing upwards and get that kind of design going on, but I didn't really want that idea or thing going on. Now, the key here, if you're going to do a wall using any of these logs, is varying which way they're facing. They're not all going left, right, or up, down. They're all kind of changing around and switching. It's up to you if you want to clump them together or what. I didn't on this design here because I didn't think it worked as well. However, over here on the roof that I did, it does work better clumped together. Now in here I do have some of the tops showing, but that's because it's a roof. You wouldn't really always see that from the ground, you know, imagining this on top of a building. And yeah, I think it works well together. I think it's a creative idea. And of course, I must say, I think I saw something like this on Hypixel and I really liked it. So I went ahead and added in the stripped logs and it worked really, really well. Really fun to do too. It's really different. Your friend will see it and be like, whoa, Acacia, it actually looks good. Nice work. Moving on to a simpler, smaller idea that you could do, we need stripped jungle logs now, and we're using those logs for little light post designs here. Now, I'm varying what's going on. These are jungle buttons on this one. Over here I have oak buttons because they both work very well. With the default textures, the colors are pretty close, so it doesn't really matter. You could really use any button or no buttons at all, and it still looks kind of neat. Now, of course, I'm using jungle trapdoors and spruce trapdoors. These will also be in 1.13, and then I just have a glowstone underneath there, but you could put any kind of light. Now, this could look really nice in a city, I would say. This isn't like some random forest path, unless you want it to be, of course. It is more of like a city design to me. I would see this going down a main road on either side, like a light pole or something like that. Something kind of cool. Moving on to another idea you could be using stripped logs for is dead trees. Now, you can use pretty much any stripped log here except acacia. Acacia doesn't seem to work for a dead tree, of course, unless you want an orange dead tree, that's all good. Now, a basic tip for building these things is to think about trees, of course, right? Like, you want to think about how the branches grow in a tree that you would see outside your house. So we have branches, kind of coming off of the middle and going upwards usually. And then there's some branches that are hanging down a little bit sometimes, but for the most part, you're going to want things going up because that's how trees grow. Don't make everything come out on the same level. Like right there, that doesn't look as good as, say, making this one a little longer and then maybe this one even longer like that. So you have these branches splitting off of your tree in different spots instead of all in the same spot. It's just kind of being creative. And then you can go ahead and sprinkle some downed arms on the ground if you want. You can even bury them in the ground and it works just as well, in my opinion. Just kind of like they've been sunk in there for quite some time. And then you can even go in here with a similar black color and do some roots if you want. If you want to do like a root coming into the ground or coming out of the ground. Now, I don't usually like to do that with these types of trees. I like to just do the blocks, but kind of an interesting use for them. Kind of fun. You could throw some cobwebs in it and make it a little more spooky. You could even throw a little bit of leaves on here and make it like a dead tree or something, or a not completely dead but dying tree. So we just throw a little bit of leaves on there like that, and it kind of works, but again, I like it more so without it. But moving on, showcasing these blocks being used as a building material, we have a cool looking house that I built with dark oak stripped logs. Now, of course, if you're using logs like this, it's gonna be pretty expensive. You're gonna need a lot of these things, but we have dark oak logs going up, then we have blocks inwards because depth is always important, and then we have the stripped dark oak, then some spruce because they match well together, and spruce is my favorite, and then black stained glass panes in here to make this really dark and evil looking build that I think looks really nice. Then swinging up here to the roof, we have oak and stripped oak going on up here. I have a bit of a barn shaped roof going on. Now, I wasn't intending for this build to be a barn or something like that, but it did kind of turn out looking like a really fancy one, and I just think it looks really cool. These brown tones in here, again paired with the bars and then the dark glass, makes it look really evil in my opinion. Now, in here I'm just using stairs creatively, like this, just to make some fake depth, because if you took the oak straight down, or the spruce, excuse me, it doesn't look as fancy as the spruce here. Now, you don't want to go too overkill on this, you just want to kind of do it where you need to, but it is a nice little extra feature. Then, of course, I'm going in here with some fences just for extra detail, and this really cool looking build. But I really like this build the most. That's why I kind of waited to show you it. I think it looks really, really cool. And this is how I'm probably going to use these logs and blocks in game a lot, is on builds something like this, Now, I did go ahead and bury them down here too, but you could leave that grass or do stone or do whatever you're thinking. And finally, last but not least, I know I've used stripped oak logs, but I wanted to use them in their own build here. So I have a little bit of an archway going on. The idea here is that this whole archway matches the sign color. So you could go ahead and build this and throw signs on it, and it would look pretty normal there because the signs match the fences and then the stairs, and then the stripped oak logs just match all of the tones in general. But a nice little archway, you could make this taller or perhaps shorter if you wanted, but I would recommend making it taller. Don't go any really shorter than this, but a nice little archway into your town here. Now, for the path, I'm getting a little creative and using some dead coral, tube coral, that is, and then cobblestone and, of course, acacia bark and logs in here. But that's about it. That's all there really is to it. The main concept here is picking colors that work well with blocks. That's always a common theme, and that's a common theme in all of the builds that I was just showing you here. So what do you think about these? Do you like them? Go ahead and throw your favorite build that I showed you down in the comments below. And like I said, feel free to tweet me a screenshot of an idea that you have. Now, also, if you have an idea that you want to see me cover and talk about, make sure you drop that down in the comments so I get it, because I can't read minds, actually. And I hope you go enjoy your day. My name is Waddles. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.